I came into environmental law a bit different to how most lawyers would. I'd never had this passion or desire to be an environmental lawyer, so I was a native title lawyer, and so I sort of got my experience up in those areas and discovered that I actually really enjoyed engaging with the environmental assessment process and protecting sites and protecting environmental significance more generally, and so then just followed that path along and ended up where I am now as an environmental lawyer doing public interest environmental law. There's not many typical days, especially doing public interest environmental law. It's the breadth of environmental law is much wider than I'd anticipated coming in. As a litigation public interest environmental lawyer, it's a lot of work on advices for clients. So clients come in with a particular issue, you do research. Often you start writing the advice and then realise you need to do a lot more research because it's such a developing area of law. And so that's a major part of the work. There's also running cases and litigation work, so briefing barristers, doing affidavits with clients, and a lot of the really interesting work that I do and I've been doing recently is work with Aboriginal traditional owners and getting affidavits and other statements from them on the cultural values of land, so they can work with landholders to try and protect those values when that land's being opened up for development. Environmental law is a really interesting area of law, and the conceptualisation of environmental laws is evolving internationally, and that's feeding into our laws here in New South Wales. Environmental planning law really affects people's lives directly, whether it's the development going in next door, whether it's the impacts of climate change for particularly people who live on the coast. So it has that very localised impact, plus the larger impact, looking at how the nation and how the state and how each community can adapt to the changing climate paradigm. Now, if you're a student and you're interested in being an environmental lawyer, I think the key things are engaging with the profession and engaging with the law. And I think that's more important in environmental law than many other areas of law because of the breadth of environmental law and also the fact that it's a fairly close-knit community. And there's not a lot of lawyers who do this work, and that the law's constantly evolving. And so you need to be cognizant not of just what the law is now and what you learn at uni, but what the law would, should and could be in the future. One of the ways you can do that is to engage with New South Wales young lawyers, because we bring in a network of lawyers across all areas of the profession. In terms of environmental law, for example, we have lawyers who work in private practice, local government, and also planning lawyers. We also have in-house government lawyers as well as public interest lawyers like myself. And New South Wales young lawyers, not only do you get to network with people and ask what the profession's like and get their ideas on the profession, but also where the law should develop. And so particularly in environmental law, doing a lot of work in engaging with how our laws can evolve in the future to deal with climate change impacts and all the myriad of areas which environmental law touches. Most people wouldn't know about being an environmental lawyer that it gets you a bit of kudos. Often you might say you're a lawyer and there's an interesting reaction, but when you say you're an environmental lawyer, people's reaction's like, oh, and they think. And I think that's really nice and a little bit unexpected and not something that I enter into environmental law to get out of it, but it's a nice feeling when people when you have a job that people stop and reflect on and think, oh, that's actually a really important job.